what's on the line. Show me how you get on down. Close my eyes, take me for a ride. Got to be you. So come and light me up. I still need your fire, baby. I still want you by my side. Light me up, let me touch the flame now, baby. I'm your phoenix tonight. Come on and rise. Come on and rise. Come on and rise. Light me up, can't get enough. Take your time, just do it right. We will rise to the skies, 'cause we ain't done till we hit the sun. Got to be you. So come and light me up. I still need your fire, baby. I still want you by my side. Light me up, let me touch the flame now, baby. I'm your phoenix tonight. Come on and rise. Come on and rise. Come on and rise. Baby, you light me up. I just can't get enough. 'Cause I need your fire. Come and light me up. I still need your fire, baby. I still want you by my side. Light me up, let me touch the flame now, baby. I'm your phoenix tonight. Come on and rise. So come on and rise. Come on and rise.
My own, but I'm never alone. On a road to wherever I want. And you see, I go with the wind. The places are then I keep them within. Holding on to a feeling so strong. Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spreading my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Oh, man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute or two or 10 or 400 or however many minutes are in, like 3 months, I guess, maybe somewhere in there. Man, just wanted to come on and say, hey, it's kind of funny because I have definitely been MIA, right? Little MIA. Before I start chatting with y'all, gotta just say how awesome it is to see so many of your faces. I gotta say, it really is lighting me up right now. Truly, like truly. I mean, we got, first of all, Rachel Luna. We are in the presence of the one and only amazing Rachel Luna. By the way, Rachel's got a book coming out. I can't freaking wait to read it. It's gonna be fantastic. So great to see you here, sister. Gotta say hi to all y'all. John's here. Doug, SmackDown Creation, or SmackDown Outdoors. I got Robin's Egg Blue Creations. I got it right that time. Jennifer Tislerix is here. It's so great to see you as well. The Artist Haven, Tish, it's awesome to see you. Doreena's here watching from Ireland. Hello. Oh my gosh. I mean, Marcus is here. Billy's here. Dave is here. We've got Alexis is here as well. Crafting with Kim, by the way, along with a number of you, a number of people sent me a DM. Well, she sent me one. Was that yesterday? Basically saying like, where are you? A lot of you have kind of checked in on me, which has been super sweet of y'all. And I got to say, I'm just ready to be back. I just appreciate all of you. I appreciate that I can literally jump in, schedule this an hour in advance, and that's it. Jump on, and here you are, right? I'm not by myself. It's kind of interesting. I didn't really know what to expect, but here's the deal. I have been like putting this off, coming back, if you will. And I'll get into a little bit about what's, update, I guess, if you will. But honestly, here's what's crazy is I've been like, okay, I need to get back to it. And I think that I want to talk about this because I think it happens to a lot of creators, happens to a lot of entrepreneurs. It happens to, honestly, just people in life. Whether it be you're consistent in the gym and then you fall off the wagon, if you will, and then you can't get back into the gym, right? Like, I mean, but sometimes we fall off. We fall off our course. And sometimes there's a lot of reasons for it. And sometimes there really aren't a lot of reasons for it. In fact, sometimes we wish we had reasons. Sometimes we wish we had a story. We wish we had some exciting or even terrible reason why we fall off. But to be honest with you, it's not why we fall off that really matters. What really matters is getting back on track, getting back on whatever you want to call it. And I will say to y'all that I've been kind of like, okay, I got to get back to it. I got to have some sort of like content. I got to have the right kind of content. I got to have the right message. I got to tell everybody why I mean, I literally thought, it started out, and I'm sure it's happened to, if it has happened to you, tell me. where it's like, oh, I missed my live. Oh, I missed 2 lives. Oh, it's been 3 weeks since I was live. I mean, I say this all the time on here. And if you all been listening to me for a while, you hear me say this, that 1 minute you've missed 2 weeks. 1 minute you've missed 2 weeks. And the next minute you've missed 2 months. Next minute you've missed 6 months. The next minute it's been a year, right? And this happens with sending emails to your list, creating regular posts on social media, whether it be reels or stories or TikToks or whatever the things are, or going live or posting content. I'm pretty sure you've all have had some sort of aspect of this that's happened. It happens all the time. It's happened with my previous students. It's happened to me, and it's happened to me again. Here we are. And honestly, I don't have a plan for today's stream except to just talk and to share how normal it is, how normal it can get. And so many of you in the comments right now are basically saying, yep, happened to me too. It's happened to me as well. Absolutely. So been there, done that, Kim says, right? A bit of burnout for me lately. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of this about burnout, a lot. I think that there are, it's like Rachel says, she says, sometimes it's just life. It's true. It's totally true. She says 100% been there, right? Marcus says, after stopping, it's hard to start again. No momentum. It's correct. This is why I always encourage Oracle Spirit Wellness. Happens to me all the time. Haley says, I've been trying to get back on and back to it for far too long. Dave says, it's called having a life. Billy says, we missed a whole month of our podcast. We needed to reset. Bowling with the Fef. Yep, happens. But if you don't owe anyone an explanation, life happens, doesn't happen, whatever. You do you. I love that. I absolutely love that. John says, sometimes a reboot is good, just like when your computer is sluggish. I had to reboot right before we went live, by the way. Right before we went live. Chris says, Mel's back. Rachel says, happened to me with Pilates, Reels, YouTube, podcast, pretty much everything I've ever created or said I'd do. See? And I mean, Rachel's, she's a badass, y'all. Like, she's the real deal. She's the real deal. I'm not lying. So if Rachel's jumping in here and saying it, it happens, right? Robin's Egg Blue Creation says, I had to push the pause button at the beginning of the year for personal reasons. Took about a month off and reset when that season of life calmed down. Absolutely. When was your last live stream? April. It was in April. I don't even know it was sometime in April. Definitely. Tish says, I've been having to put off things for our channel because of an upcoming job thing. It's hard to get back going again, but we got this. Absolutely. So listen, if so many of you are either sitting in this phase or whatever. I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say a bad word. I'm going to say a bad word. But, the whole getting back to it, you don't need a process. You don't need a relaunch. Fuck that. Just do it. Just do it. Like, literally. Today I was like, okay, I could create a cool thumbnail and like make it fun, and we'll get back on and I'll do a new stream. And I was looking at my schedule next week, and I was like, I don't know when I can. And then I was like, okay, I just want to do it today. I was itching. I've been feeling the itch. And finally I just said, no, I could create this perfect, like, pump it up, and Mel's back, and I could, make myself a bigger deal than I really am. And I could just make it this thing and this splash. And I said, fuck it. I'm going live today at 3:30 because that's when I can go live, because Addison's going to her dad's at 2:30, and I'll be back, and Doug's not done with work till I don't know when. He's probably done now, waiting on me. I don't care. Screw it. I'm going live today because everybody's waiting. Tuesday, it can come. Today will come and go. Today will come and go. And so, yeah, there could be a perfect way to resplash, bring it back. You know what the perfect way to do it is however the hell you need to do it. And I know that if I kept sitting here and saying, I need to have this all ready to go. Nope. I know myself all too well because I've been doing this for a really long time, and I've been doing this. I've done this enough. I've had enough fizzles outs and enough had to get it back on, had to get back to it, enough to know you have to just do it. The best way to get started is to get started. Like, get started. So here I am at random ass 3:30 today, I scheduled it at like, what, 2:30, somewhere in there? I don't know. You know, guess what? Best practice is to give your audience a little more time, a little more warning. I say it all the time. Not today. Not today. Not today. Not when you just need to make it happen. So that's what we're doing today. We're making it happen. Here we are. This is what we're doing. So I'm live, hanging out with you. I have no planned content, just to get on here and get back. And I gotta say, it feels really freaking good. It just feels really freaking good just to be back. I had to literally remember how to use OBS. I had to make sure my buttons all still worked, like this thing. I had to make sure it all still worked. Like I said in the description, I had to get the dust off the settings. Because one thing I will tell you is when you are using things, first of all, I logged into Canva the other day to do something for something else, and I was like, whoa, there's some new things here. Like, when you get out of it, you get out of it. So you got to get back into it. It's kind of like, again, you're working out at the gym. You leave the gym for a while. You go back. You got to kind of remember what to pack and what to take with you. And you walk into the gym and, oh my God, they've rearranged all the equipment. New equipment even. Got to get acclimated. What are you going to do? Feel uncomfortable because you don't feel like you know where you're going, and you're going to feel uncomfortable because you think everybody's watching you thinking, where has she been? She's put on a few pounds since she's been here. You know what? In the end, nobody's really thinking that. And if they are, who cares? That's it, right? Simple as that. So we can talk ourselves out of anything. We can talk ourselves out of anything. But you got to start talking yourselves into the right things. So that's where we are, you know. This is that warning. You're back. I mean, I'm here, right? So Oracle Spirit Wellness says, I finally went live in my Facebook group Tuesday for the first time in months too. There you go. Oh, I think we got Callie in the house over with LSP. What kind of hootenanny is this? Oh my gosh, I love my friends over at Live Streaming Pros. So seriously, here's the deal. Sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes you don't have a real good reason. I will be honest with you. My reason simply comes down to too many things on my plate. Too many things on my plate. A few things had to fall. And unfortunately, this fell. And I can't really peel back the layers just yet or unpack just yet why this fell, because I love doing this. But I will tell you this. I'll give you the short and skinny. I took a job. I accepted an offer I couldn't refuse to go back into a world that, quite frankly, I absolutely used to love. And that's working for a company. It's not even anything sexy. Like, I mean, I'm still a spokesperson and still a partner for StreamYard. I still do that. It's not even that. It's not anything sexy like, I work for a fixture and display company. Yep. So back in the day, for 9 years, I worked for a graphics company and got to do all kinds of great things. I got to help retailers launch into international experience. I got to do a lot of cool things, helping them with their retail graphics. Now I work for a similar company in the display and fixtures. So that's what I'm doing. It's a lot more fun than that. But I will say, I missed being a part of a team. I missed being in an environment where I could literally walk in the door and be innovative and creative and have a team and structure. And here's the thing. It's basically like I get to sit down and create solutions. And I get to help this company reorganize a little bit. I get to help this company retweak how they're doing customer service. I get to help them understand, re-architect a few things. I freaking love doing stuff like that. I have truly missed it. I love being self-employed. I love being in charge of my schedule. To be totally honest with you, my bank account didn't necessarily love it, right? But I've been working as a contractor for a lot of companies for a long time. And this is actually working with some people I used to work with a really long time ago. And I get to work with some of the clients I got to work with a really long time ago. But here's the best part. They said, you can still do your thing on the side. And I'm like, cool. Well, that thing just needs to change a little bit. This thing, you, me, us, doing this, all hanging out, that. I still get to do it. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to make this work. Well, I got started with it, and it was very consuming. It was very consuming. I've been traveling about every other week, a lot of travel. I will say that my office in Tennessee is not necessarily live streaming worthy. It's a pretty interesting office. But I just got to say that I honestly was like, oh, this will be perfect. I can still do this. I can still do this thing. I can still do it. And then it was like, okay, I skip a week and then I skip a week. And then it was just like, I didn't have the energy. All of my mental capacity was going towards all of my efforts. And I mean, when I'm all in on something. And I got to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know if James is still watching, but he's been giving me a really hard time. Our good friend James Hicks, he's been giving me a really hard time because I kind of went dark on him too. Like I just got quiet. So it's not just like, streaming. I mean, also it's summer. My daughter's home. I've been trying to make sure that when I am home, that I can be present with her. There's just a lot. And I got to be honest with you. I kind of got to a point where I was like, you feel this pressure when you show up for your audience. You do feel pressure sometimes to perform, to step up, to have some really a big message, right? You feel this obligation sometimes. And it's funny because how many times do you all hear me say to you, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just show up, do this, stick with it. And it's not easy. And I know it's not easy, which is why I always try to provide you with tips and strategies about how to do it, how to keep going, how to stick with it. But it can still happen. It can still happen. And I wanted to come up with the right way to come back. And then I just decided, no, there is no right way. The best way to come back is just to come back. So I really don't know. I do not know what this is going to look like. It is definitely not going to look like what it did before, which was me trying to stream every week at the exact same time, same day, all that. I will tell you one thing, what people, and I've always said this to all of you, people say, when's the best time to create content? When's the best time to go live? And what have I always said to you? I've always said the best time that you can go live is the best time to go live. And probably the best time for me to stick with the schedule consistently and be able to know that I can would be to go live on the weekends or to go live in the evening. I'm not doing that. That just isn't going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. I know it. I could probably try, but I know myself. I'll get up on Saturday morning and it'll be a beautiful day and I'm supposed to go live at 10 a.m. and I'm going to get up and I'm going to say, no, I'm going to go out on the boat and drink mimosas on the boat because it's Saturday. Right? Or it's going to be Tuesday night and I'm supposed to go live at 9:00 on Tuesdays and I'm going to be like, I'm really tired. I just don't want to. Or I'm going to be out at dinner and I'm going to say, I want one more glass of wine before we go home. So I'm not going to go live. That I know myself and I know where my boundaries are with my life. And so while the best time for me to do it and to be able to do it, go live and be here consistently with you would be some random, some weeknight or some weekend. I just know myself. I'm not going to do it. So that's the boundary I'm putting up. So we're going to figure this out together. I'm going to figure this out because I know so many of you will fall into the same boat, right? You have a full-time job. Your channel, your content is a side hustle. It's something else you're doing. Many of you do not have the freedoms, right? To just have this free schedule, this flexibility. Now I don't. Right? And so we're going to figure this out. I have some ideas. Wanted to definitely share them with y'all. 100%. Kelly said, I was hoping it had something to do with cannolis. So funny. Oh, Eileen Smith is here too. Oh, I love seeing your face, Eileen. I love it. Mimosas on a boat. 100%. What's a mimosa? Don't be silly. So here's the deal. Mel's trying to drink, y'all. She ain't trying to stream. Here, many times I drink while I stream, but I'm taking a break and I don't really want to sit here and be boozing when I'm also going to have to hop on my email when I'm done with this to check on things, right? So one of those things. This is kind of my lunch break today, coming live with y'all. So one of those things that you do, right? Okay, so here's the deal. Here's what I'm going to be trying to do. Tish says, I'm near Tennessee. Yeah, Chattanooga is the place. Chattanooga and Charlotte are the places I'll be hanging out for all the times. So here's the deal. Here's what Crafty with Kim. Count me in for mimosas on the boat. Right? Seriously. It's the best. So here's the deal. I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to create some short, some video on demand content to just stay in the game. And I'm also going to continue to try to find a way to go live. I just may not be able to do a consistent live schedule. So what that means is I'm going to have to do a better job of scheduling it, but also promoting it so that people understand when I'm going to be live. It also means that my content style, I'm doing this a lot today, lots of air quotes today. It also means that my content style might have to change. So many of you have been here for a long time, that you know that my content is predominantly Q&A. I will come on, I will say, ask me questions, let's hang out, I'll answer the questions, right? And a lot of times I'll have a specific topic where I might want to theme that Q&A round. Other times I will show up and say, I've got 5 tips I want to share with you about XYZ. So I'll do like a training, but then I always do a Q&A. Well, I may have to shift that a little bit, right? So one of the things that I'm definitely going to be doing is I'm going to need to do what I always encourage others to do, which is do some batch work. Last Friday on the StreamYard channel, I did a show and I talked about, how you can't really batch live streaming because you're live, right? But you can batch all the other parts. You can batch the planning, you can batch the thumbnail design, you can batch the titles and the descriptions. You can batch your graphics, your supporting graphics that you're going to put into StreamYard or whatever you're streaming with. You can 100% do that. And so I'm going to try to literally do that, because one of the areas where if I'm going to want to be able to go live a little bit more randomly, I'm going to need to have a list of ideas to pluck from very quickly, because I know that if I have to sit down and sit there and think of an idea for me to go live on next Thursday or whenever, that's going to take energy from me. And that's the thing I need to make sure I preserve right now, is my mental capacity, my mental energy, because so much of that energy is going to other areas. It's going to this full-time job, right? It's going to my daughter. It's going to my relationships. It's going to myself, taking care of myself right now. I mean, I got to be honest, it's been kind of a weird year. I'm good, but there's been a lot I've been dealing with. There's a lot in the personal world, right? I'm not going to get into any of it. Everything's good, but it's been a weird year. I will be honest. And it's been challenging. And I do think that, and I know this is a topic that many of you know how important it is, but our mental health is really, really important. And when you are a person who is putting yourself out there, whether it be writing a book like Rachel I think her book is done. Her book is done, actually. It's getting ready. It's coming. Whether you're writing a book like Rachel, whether you're, owning a channel, whether you're operating a business like, Luria and Callie over at Live Streaming Pros, whether you're, launching a new membership like they are, or mastermind like they are, whatever you're doing, if you're showing up online to create content, but also to publish something, to promote something, to launch something, it takes courage. It takes massive amounts of energy to show up. It does. It takes more energy for others than it does others, right? But I will tell you that that energy to show up can sometimes be consumed by other things in your life. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. Somebody earlier mentioned burnout, right? 100% burnout happens. It 100% happens to all of us. So then you can't sit there and just say, you have to figure out why you're burned out. And again, do you remember when in the beginning, if you were here watching in the beginning, I said, I got to a place where I had just too much going on and some things had to fall. And this fell? This? You and me, us doing this, hanging out, that fell? Yeah, amazing, because this is what I love to do. This is one of my favorite things to do. But it fell. And so again, I got to unpack, why did I get that burnout with the thing I love to do so much? Why is that? And I think we got to unpack that. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of making sure there's room for what it takes to do this, because I do know that this brings me joy. This is something that I love. This is something I don't want to give up. This is something I want to keep doing, because I also know that when we show up in one space, other spaces tend to show up. The whole door opening thing, right? Oh, where one door closes, another door opens. Bullcrap. You got to open the door. Doors do not automatically open. I'm sorry. I do not believe in that. So the whole one door closes, one door opens, I think that's complete bullshit. You have to go out there and find the doors Sometimes you got to knock on the doors. Sometimes you got to walk down the hallway, turn a couple corners, and then open the door. Sometimes you 100% have to like push the door open for it to be open for you. There is no like doors automatically just open. Everything you do every day, everything you do in your content, everything you do every minute of your day sets up some way for you to be in a hallway or standing in front of a door or someone opening a door. But that person on the other side that opened the door, or the person next to you that says, I'm opening this door, I'm going to walk you in the door, whatever that looks like, that doesn't just automatically happen. You don't just wake up and some miraculous thing happened and by luck some door opened in front of you. Everything happens for a reason. There's some serendipitous, aspects to that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the way you show up, the things you do, the actions you take, all contribute to those doors opening up, or at least those doors being in front of you for you to grab the knob, turn it, and open the door. That's how that works. And so I truly do believe that me doing what I'm doing, I love it, but I also truly do believe that it's opening doors. It's been opening doors. It has opened doors. It's opened amazing doors, and it's going to continue to open doors for me. I don't know what doors those are going to be. I don't know what those doors are going to look like. I don't know what's on the other side of those doors, but I just know that if I stop doing this, there won't be doors. The doors don't show up for us. You got to find the doors. You got to walk in. You got to walk down the hallway. You got to call somebody and say, hey, can you give me directions to that door that I'm trying to find? Cool. Can you go with me? Sweet. That's my little analogy of, can you make an introduction? Can you do this? Come on. So you got to find those doors. You got to open those doors. So this that I'm doing is part of that. And that's why I don't ever want to give it up. That's why today at 2:30, I said, F it. I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to go sit on that bench outside the door that I haven't perfected to weigh whatever. Just show up. Just do it. So don't stop doing things. You may have taken a break. Maybe you take a hiatus. Maybe you get stuck and you're like, how do I restart the engine? You go get some gasoline. You might need to check the oil and change the oil. You need to make sure you have the key and you start the damn engine. It's that simple. Do you know where you're going to go? Do you know where you're going to drive? No, that's fine. But you got to start the engine. That's all you got to do is start the engine. Sometimes you just got to start driving and then you'll find somewhere that you want to go. I am full of analogies today, apparently, but you're here for it, right? We're here for it. Tish says, I've never had a door open for me. It's usually me kicking one in. Yeah, sister. 100%. Love it. So Marcus says, when one door opens, two others open as well. That also happens sometimes, right? That also happens sometimes. Tanya says, vroom, vroom. That's right. See you, Rachel. Rachel, Luna, so awesome that you were here today. Again, sister, connect with me. Send me a text. I'm excited about your book. I want to know how I can help y'all. Guys, literally, Girl Confident, Rachel Luna. I think her book is called Permission to Offend. It's coming out. She's amazing. You need to go check her out. So she's awesome. One of the most genuine people you'll ever come across in your life. Let's see. Bowling with the Fef said, I usually batch the explaining why I'm in the basement for hours to Mrs. Fef. That's pretty funny. That's good. I like it. Okay, so I want to check in on the comments really quick. We all love mimosas, right? So Callie's like, I need food. There it is. Thank you, James. There it is. So Rachel right there, rachelluna.biz. Right there is where you guys need to go find Rachel. She's amazing. I had the honor of meeting Rachel at an Amy Porterfield event. We were both there, and doors open after doors open after doors open after doors open. Amy and her team asked me to stand on stage and do a quick little minutes of motivation. And I did. And I shared that I was a breast cancer survivor. Well, guess who else is a breast cancer survivor? Miss Rachel Luna. So she reached out and was like, hey, I want to talk to you. So again, I would have never have met Rachel, or even honestly, maybe even come across her had I not met her at that event. And again, that being there in that moment at that time and the way it all worked out, all happens. Everything's a step. Every action you take creates more action. Every step you take, every door you open opens more doors, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I met her, right? That's how I met half of you, is by continuing to show up and do things, right? Okay, so my plan is to batch plan. My plan is to batch plan. My plan is to get organized. Get organized, get inspired, get motivated, because every day I'm pretty tired. Every day my brain gets tired. Most days, okay? Most days. And I'm doing some awesome stuff. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the people, the amazing people I get to work with, but it is consuming. So I have to make sure that I reorganize, I reconfigure the way that I am planning things to go live, because when it's time to go live, I need to make sure I have that energy so that I can do it, right? And so it's one of those things that I got to make sure that I have again, it's going to look different. It's going to be different because we're in a new phase. We're in a new phase. The other thing that I'll say is that I know, this is kind of funny. I know for a fact that I'm not just going to talk about live streaming and live video and gadgets and things. I love all that stuff. I freaking love it. And I still love it. And I still want to help you love it and do it too. But I also know that there's a lot more that I'm supposed to be talking about. There's a lot more in me. There has been forever. I used to struggle with, what should my content be? What should my course be about? How can I help people? Because I love helping people. I can help people do all kinds of things. This job I have over here has nothing to do with any of this fun stuff, right? I mean, I'm in like spreadsheets and like quoting fixtures and talking about supply chain and all kinds of not sexy things, right? I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I can do all kinds of things. So I used to always struggle with, what should I be doing? Well, I'm not going to worry so much about that. I made a decision a few years ago. I said, I'm getting stuck because I'm trying to figure out the perfect method. People used to say, what's your business about? What do you do? And I would really struggle with that. Then I just made the decision. I love to geek out on live streaming and graphics and, these gadgets and all these things. So that's what I'm going to do. So I did. And when I became very focused, it became, one, very easy for me to tell people what I did. And two, it became very easy for people like Luria Petrucci to say, hey, come on my show and talk about live video. Or somebody else saying, come on my podcast and come talk about this. Before, people are always like, you're really fun, but what is it you do? I don't even know how you would help me. I don't even know how you would come on my show. So getting narrow definitely is huge. And I used to say, man, I just don't think I don't know that I'm going to always be some live video coach, or I don't know that that's really the only thing I want to focus on. And I actually remember Luria told me this, as well as another friend, a mutual friend of ours, Amy. They both said to me, well, that's what you're doing now. That's just what you're doing now. That may not be what you're doing forever. And I remember Amy reminded me, she's like, Mel, I used to teach Facebook ads. Her first course was about Facebook ads and social media. What? That's not at all what she does now. She doesn't even teach Facebook ads at all inside her own program. She has guests do it. So, I mean, she's right. And, Luria's right too. She's like, that's not your forever. This is just your right now. And you're doing this and you're building it. She's like, but yeah, there's so much more inside of you. She said, it'll come out. It'll find its way. But right now you're having fun and this is what you're focusing on. So this is you right now, but no, it's not you forever. And I have another friend, Heather Sager, who is a speaking coach. And she used to train people on she used to say, I'm not always going to be, doing this, and she's like, I want to do this. And we used to have the same conversation. Well, this is what we do now. But isn't it like in 10 years, I'm not going to be like Mel, the live streaming coach. It probably won't even be called live streaming then. But I do know that the deeper part of all this is that my big mission is to get people to put themselves out there, to get you to be empowered and equipped to step outside your comfort zone and to create content so that you can open the freaking doors. That is truly my mission. Like, that is 100% why I'm always here. My vehicle that I love and I love to help people and encourage people to do is to use live video to do that, right? And so I'm helping you with the vehicle, but the deep stuff that I really want to help you do is reach your goals, make the connections you're supposed to make, and put yourself out there. So if that's building confidence, if that's helping you with your messaging, if that's helping you identify how to connect with your audience, if that's helping you embrace who you are, your own personal brand, if that's helping you embrace the reality of who we are built inside of us and let it out, be you, right? If that's what it's all about, That's truly why I'm here. The vehicle is just doing fun stuff with live videos, right? So I do think that the next this next evolution, if you will, of me and hanging out with you is going to have more of that. It has had it. Always had the sprinkling of it, right? It's always had the sprinkling of it in there. But I do think that it's time for me to push it further because it's truly what lights me up. So the reason I'm sharing that is because that in order for me to get to know you in this way, I want you to ask me the fun questions about the fun gadgets and the cool things, but I also want you to be vulnerable because you're going to have to be vulnerable if you want to be helped. You're going to have to be able to be vulnerable and open and honest in this safe environment of us so that I can help you, right? It's kind of like you're coming to hang out with Mel, cocktails with Mel, whatever you want to do, mimosas, LaCroix. I'm drinking sparkling water today, which I highly discourage you from doing while you're live streaming because the bubbles. I've been trying to make sure I don't belch today while I'm live. But, however you want to envision it, if we're sitting down at the bar, having a beer, how would you feel? How would you sit down and just be open with me? How would you be vulnerable with me? How would you actually tell me what's holding you back? How would you actually celebrate your wins with me, right? Because it's the same. It's 100%. That's how I want you to start to look at me and view me because that's where I want to help. We're going to talk about and geek out about live videos still and all the fun stuff, Canva and all the things, but we're going to get deep. We're going to get deeper for sure. So 100%. Dorina says, Mel, you're deeper than tech. I appreciate that. And James says, I've literally cried on Mel's shoulder before. Yes, he has. He has cried on my shoulder. He has. Good old James. We love James, right? Tanya says, vulnerability will change the world. I totally agree. 100%. You will be able to offer balance, tech, and emotional mental help. Yeah. Here's the thing. This stuff is deep. To put yourself out there, whether you're live streaming or blogging or writing or doing podcasts, it doesn't matter. Putting yourself out there is not for the weak of heart. It requires you to, it's deep stuff. That's why there's so much now out there about entrepreneurship and mental health. Tons. So much. It's also why 98% of the people who try to do what we're all trying to do quit and don't follow through. And I have quit or I have fallen off the wagon many, many, many times during these last 8 years. 8 years. It is 8 years. Holy crap. It's 8 years. And I have gotten back up. And I can sit and I can wallow in guilt or shame in the fact that I've given up, or can be like, oh man, I did that again. But what I'm going to choose to do is to be proud of the fact that I got up again. I'm getting up again. I'm stepping back in, jumping back in. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. So I almost guarantee every single one of you has something that is eating at you, something that you keep saying you need to get back to, something that's been sitting, something you haven't launched, something you haven't clicked go on. There's something. Everybody has something. And I want you to tell yourself, I just want you to say, what's the next step? What is the actual next step? What is the next step that makes the most sense? And I want you to do it. I want you to go. Because again, as I said in my description, this isn't some comeback story. This is I got to fire up the engine story. I got to hit go. I got to click go live. I got to just show up again and we'll figure the rest out. That's what we're going to do. I have no plan. I have no specific strategy. I do not know the next time I will go live, but I do know it is not going to be in 3 months. I do know that. And I want to say I appreciate you all so, so, so much. I don't even have any new graphics or anything new fun, anything exciting to share with you. But we are going to sign off for now because my phone just lit up. I got to take a call. And I also didn't want to come on here for too long because it is Friday and I do want to get wrapped up because, as Billy always says, Tito's time is coming. It's almost here. But I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your words of encouragement. Thank you for sharing your thoughts in the comments. And thank you all so much for just not giving up, because the fact that you're even here at all in the comments at all, period, Watching the replay doesn't matter. If you watch the replay and you made it this far, you're a champion, by the way. But the fact that you're just here at all, still listening, tells me that you're not going to give up. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Don't give up. Stick with it. Let's do this together. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be done. So go make it happen. All right. I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.